Welcome back to our channel, gentlemen. Today we are talking about something powerful, something uncomfortable, something that can completely change your life. What if I told you that you do not need more motivation? You need more force? What if your success is hiding behind the things you avoid every single day? Think about that for a moment. The goals you dream about, the body you want, the confidence you desire, the English you want to speak fluently. What if all of it is waiting behind one simple decision? The decision to act even when you do not feel like it. Most people wait until they feel ready. They wait for the perfect mood. They wait for the right time. They wait for Monday. They wait for next month. They wait for motivation to come like magic. But winners move before they feel ready. They move when they feel tired. They move when they feel lazy. They move when they feel afraid. That is the difference. Let me ask you something honestly. How many times have you said, "I will start tomorrow"? How many times have you felt excited at night, but lazy in the morning? This is normal. You are not weak. You are human. But staying in that cycle is a choice. And today, we break that cycle. In this video, you will learn how to force yourself into discipline. Not in a negative way, not in a harmful way, but in a powerful way. You will learn how to act when you feel lazy, how to move when your mind says stop, how to build a strong mind that does not depend on emotions, because emotions change every day, but your goals should not change every day. Discipline is not about feeling good. It is about doing what must be done. Even when you feel tired, even when you feel bored, even when nobody is watching. That is real strength. That is real growth. Stay with me until the end. Do not skip. Do not leave early, because the last chapter will completely change how you see discipline. It will change how you see yourself. And maybe, just maybe, it will push you to become the person you know you can be. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Stop waiting for motivation. Start forcing action. This chapter breaks the biggest lie people believe. The lie is simple. I will start when I feel motivated. It sounds smart, it sounds reasonable, but it is dangerous, because most people wait for motivation like they are waiting for rain in the desert. Sometimes it comes. Most of the time it does not. And while they wait, days pass, weeks pass, months pass. Nothing changes. Let us understand something clearly. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is decision. Motivation is a feeling. Discipline is a choice. A feeling changes quickly. A choice can stay strong. This is the difference. Most people depend on mood. If they feel excited, they work hard. If they feel tired, they rest. If they feel inspired, they start something new. If they feel bored, they stop. Their actions depend on emotions, but emotions are unstable. Some days you wake up feeling powerful. Some days you wake up feeling lazy. Some days you feel confident. Some days you feel doubtful. This is normal. Mood changes daily, sometimes even hourly. But goals require stability. Let me repeat that. Goals require stability. If your actions change every time your mood changes, your results will also change. That is why many people start strong but do not finish. They begin with high motivation, but when motivation disappears, so does their effort. Now listen carefully to this powerful truth. The moment you say, I do not feel like it. That is the moment discipline begins. Read that again in your mind. The moment you say, I do not feel like studying. I do not feel like exercising. I do not feel like practicing English. That is not a sign to stop. That is the starting line of discipline. Imagine this clearly. If you only went to your job when you felt motivated, what would happen? You would lose your job. If a doctor only treated patients when he felt inspired, people would suffer. If a pilot only flew the airplane when he felt excited, nobody would trust him. Responsibility does not depend on mood. It depends on commitment. So why do you treat your own goals differently? Why do you say, I will practice English when I feel motivated? Why do you say, I will start my workout when I feel ready? If you wait for motivation, you will wait forever. Tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. And your dreams stay dreams. Now here is a strong shift in thinking. Action creates motivation, not the opposite. Many people believe motivation comes first. They think, when I feel motivated, I will act. But in reality, when you act, motivation follows. When you start working, energy increases. When you begin studying, focus improves. When you start exercising, your body wakes up. The hardest part is not doing the work. The hardest part is starting. That is why I want to give you a simple rule, the 5-minute forcing rule. When you do not feel like doing something important, tell yourself, I will do it for only 5 minutes, not 1 hour, not 2 hours, just 5 minutes. Force yourself to start immediately. 5 minutes feels small. Your brain will not fight it strongly. And most of the time, after 5 minutes, you will continue. Because starting removes resistance. Starting breaks laziness. Even if you stop after 5 minutes, you still win. Why? Because you trained your discipline. You proved to yourself that feelings do not control you. Let us define some important words in simple English. Motivation is the feeling of excitement or desire to do something. Discipline is the ability to do something even when you do not feel excited. Consistency means doing something again and again without stopping. These 3 words are very important for your life and also for your English vocabulary. Now listen carefully to this emotional truth. Feeling lazy does not mean you are weak. It means you are human. Every human feels lazy sometimes. Every human feels tired. Even successful people feel it. The difference is simple. They do not obey laziness. They feel it, but they act anyway. Staying lazy is a choice. Acting is also a choice. When you choose to stay in bed instead of waking up early, that is a decision. When you choose to scroll on your phone instead of studying, that is a decision. Do not blame your feelings. Take responsibility for your decisions. You must stop asking, do I feel like it? And start asking, is this important for my future? That one question can change your life. If it is important, do it. Immediately. No debate, no emotional discussion, just action. Discipline grows when you force small actions daily, not big dramatic actions. Small ones. Wake up when the alarm rings. Sit at your desk at your study time. Open your book even if you feel bored. Speak English even if you feel shy. Small forced actions build strong character. Remember this clearly. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes. Discipline can stay forever. If you build your life only on feelings, your life will be unstable. If you build your life on decisions, your life will be powerful. You do not need better feelings. You need stronger decisions. Chapter 2. Build non-negotiable habits that control you. In the last chapter, we changed your mindset. Now we change your system. Because mindset without system is weak. You can feel inspired today and forget everything tomorrow. That is why discipline must move from emotion to structure. Discipline grows when habits become rules. Most people negotiate with themselves every single day. The alarm rings. They say, 5 more minutes. Study time comes. They say, I will start after 1 video. Workout time comes. They say, I feel tired today. This looks small, but it is powerful in a negative way. Every negotiation weakens you. Let me say something very clearly. Every broken promise reduces self-respect. When you tell yourself, I will wake up at 6 a.m., and you wake up at 7:30, something inside you becomes weaker. When you say, I will study English for 30 minutes, and you only study for 5, you lose trust in yourself. Self-trust is important. If you do not trust your own word, how will you build discipline? This is why you need non-negotiable habits. Non-negotiable means not open for discussion, not open for emotional debate. It is a rule, and rules are powerful. When something becomes a rule, you stop asking how you feel. You simply follow the rule. For example, choose a fixed wake-up time. 6 a.m. means 6 a.m., not 6:10, not 6:20. Fixed means fixed. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. Your body will resist. Your mind will complain. But after some days, something changes. Your brain starts accepting it. It becomes normal. This is the power of routine. Routine means doing the same action at the same time every day. When you repeat an action daily, it becomes automatic. Automatic means you do it without thinking too much. You do not debate. You do not argue with yourself. You just act. Discipline is easier when automatic. If you must decide every day whether to study or not, you will feel tired. This is called decision fatigue. Decision fatigue means you become mentally tired because you make too many decisions. But when you create a structure, you remove decisions. You already decided before. Now you just follow the plan. Let us use simple examples. Wake up at the same time. Exercise at the same time. Study English at the same time. Work on your goal at the same time. Fixed time creates fixed behavior. Fixed behavior creates strong discipline. Another powerful idea is habit stacking. Habit stacking means connecting a new habit to an old habit. For example, after brushing your teeth, read 1 page in English. After lunch, walk for 10 minutes. After dinner, plan tomorrow. You already brush your teeth daily, so you attach reading to it. This makes the new habit easier. It becomes part of your routine. Repetition is the key word here. Repetition means doing something again and again. When you repeat a small action daily, your brain learns it. It becomes part of your identity. Identity means how you see yourself. At first, you say, I am trying to be disciplined. But after repetition, you say, I am a disciplined person. That is a big change. And remember this powerful truth. Consistency beats intensity always. Intensity means doing something with very high energy, but only for a short time. Consistency means doing something regularly without stopping. Many people are intense for 1 week. They wake up early, exercise hard, study long hours. Then they quit. That is not discipline. That is emotional energy. It is better to study English 20 minutes every day than 3 hours once a week. It is better to exercise 30 minutes daily than 2 hours one day and nothing for 5 days. Small daily effort wins in the long run. This is structure. This is system. Let me repeat important grammar patterns for you because this is also an English lesson. When you wake up at the same time, you build routine. When you repeat daily actions, you build discipline. When you keep your promises, you build self-respect. This pattern is simple. When you do this, you build that. Practice this sentence pattern. It will improve your English and your thinking. Now feel this emotional moment. When you stop negotiating, when you stop making excuses, when you follow simple daily rules, something powerful happens. You stop trying to be disciplined. You become disciplined. You do not fight yourself every morning. You do not argue with your schedule. You simply act. This is freedom. Not freedom to be lazy. Freedom from confusion. Freedom from emotional chaos. Structure creates calmness. Structure creates clarity. Structure creates control. Do not try to change your whole life in one day. Choose 2 or 3 non-negotiable habits. Protect them. Respect them. Follow them daily. Even when you feel bored. Even when you feel tired. Especially when you feel lazy. That is when they matter most. Small rules followed daily build a powerful identity. Chapter 3. Train your mind to tolerate discomfort. Now we go deeper. This is where most people quit. This is where excuses become strong. This is where discipline feels painful. And you must understand why. Discipline feels painful because growth lives inside discomfort. Your brain is designed to avoid discomfort. It wants safety. It wants ease. It wants pleasure. If something feels hard, your brain says, stop. If something feels uncomfortable, your brain says, avoid it. This is natural. This is human. But here is the important truth. Discomfort is not danger. Let us understand this word clearly. Discomfort means a feeling of mental or physical unease. For example, waking up early feels uncomfortable. Studying when you are tired feels uncomfortable. Speaking English when you are shy feels uncomfortable. But uncomfortable does not mean harmful. It simply means new. It means challenging. Discomfort is growth in progress. When you exercise and your muscles burn, that burning is not danger. It is development. When you study and your brain feels tired, that tiredness is not weakness. It is learning. When you practice speaking and you make mistakes, that embarrassment is not failure. It is improvement happening in real time. Most people misunderstand discomfort. They think it is a sign to stop. Disciplined people see it as a sign to continue. That is the difference. Listen carefully to this powerful sentence. Your comfort zone is your invisible prison. A prison does not always look dangerous. Sometimes it looks safe. Inside your comfort zone, everything feels easy. You do what you always do. You avoid what feels hard. You stay the same. And because you stay the same, your results stay the same. Growth begins when you step outside that comfort zone. And stepping outside feels uncomfortable. That is why many people go back. They say, this is too hard. They say, this is not for me. But the truth is simple. It is hard because you are expanding. Now let us talk about resistance. Resistance is the inner force that pushes you to stop. When you sit down to study and suddenly you want to check your phone, that is resistance. When you start working and your mind says, later, that is resistance. Resistance is normal. But staying in resistance builds mental toughness. Mental toughness means the ability to continue even when it feels difficult. It means you do not run from discomfort. You stay, even for a few minutes more. Here is a simple but powerful method. Separate feeling from action. Feeling is emotion. Action is behavior. You may feel lazy, but laziness is a feeling, not a command. You may feel tired, but tiredness is a sensation, not a decision. When you separate feeling from action, you take control. Use this sentence pattern. When you feel lazy, you still act. When you feel tired, you still try. When you feel afraid, you still move. Practice this pattern in your mind. This simple grammar pattern is powerful for English and powerful for life. Another strong tool is self-talk. Self-talk means the way you speak to yourself in your mind. Many people use negative self-talk. They say, I cannot do this. They say, this is too hard. They say, I am not strong enough. And the brain believes it. Change your inner voice. Make it calm. Make it controlled. Say, this is uncomfortable, but I can handle it. Say, this is difficult, but I am growing. Say, just 5 more minutes. Your words shape your strength. Now let us talk about progressive exposure. This means increasing difficulty slowly. If you cannot focus for 1 hour, start with 15 minutes. If you cannot wake up at 5 a.m., start with 6:30. If you cannot speak English for 10 minutes, start with 2. Increase step by step. Tolerance is another important word. Tolerance means the ability to handle discomfort without quitting. Resilience means the ability to recover and continue after difficulty. Every time you stay in discomfort, you build tolerance. Every time you continue after struggle, you build resilience. And here is the powerful moment. The moment you stay 5 minutes longer, you grow stronger. 5 extra minutes of study, 5 extra minutes of exercise, 5 extra minutes of focus. That small extension builds big strength. It tells your brain, I am in control. You do not need to enjoy discomfort. You just need to survive it. You do not need to love the pain. You just need to stay long enough to grow. Enjoyment comes later. Pride comes later. Confidence comes later. At first, discomfort feels like pressure. Later, it feels like progress. At first, resistance feels heavy. Later, it feels like training. This is transformation. When you avoid discomfort, you stay weak. When you face discomfort, you become strong. When you run from resistance, you stay small. When you stay inside resistance, you expand. Always remember this. On the other side of discomfort is confidence. Chapter 4. Kill excuses and build self-respect. Now we attack the biggest enemy of discipline. Not laziness, not fear, not failure. The biggest enemy is excuses. Excuses are small sentences that sound harmless, but they quietly destroy your future. They do not shout, they whisper, and that is why they are dangerous. Let us look at common excuses in simple language. I am too tired. I will start tomorrow. I do not have enough time. I am not ready. Just today, I will skip. These sentences look normal. Everyone says them. But every time you repeat them, something inside you becomes weaker. Excuses protect comfort. When you say, I am too tired, you protect your bed. When you say, I will start tomorrow, you protect your laziness. When you say, I do not have time, you protect your distractions. Comfort feels safe. It feels warm. It feels easy. But listen carefully to this powerful truth. Excuses feel safe, but safety without growth leads to regret. Regret is a painful feeling about something you did not do. Imagine yourself 5 years from now. You look back. You see all the days you could have studied, all the mornings you could have woken up early, all the chances you could have improved. That pain is regret, and regret is heavier than discipline. Broken promises destroy self-trust. Self-trust means believing your own words. If you promise yourself to practice English daily and you break that promise again and again, you stop trusting yourself. When you do not trust yourself, confidence disappears. Discipline becomes weak. But when you keep your promises, something powerful happens. Self-respect grows. Self-respect means you value yourself. You see yourself as serious. You see yourself as reliable. Every small promise you keep builds that respect. Now let us talk about responsibility and ownership. Responsibility means accepting that your life is your duty. Ownership means saying, this is my result. This is my choice. When you blame others, you give away power. When you blame circumstances, you lose control. But when you take ownership, you become powerful. For example, instead of saying, I do not have time, ask, where am I wasting time? Instead of saying, I am too tired, ask, am I really exhausted or just avoiding effort? This is the honest self-questioning method. Ask yourself hard questions. Do not lie to yourself. Honesty builds strength. Use simple sentence patterns. When you make excuses, you delay growth. When you take responsibility, you build power. When you break promises, you lose trust. When you keep promises, you gain respect. Repeat these patterns in your mind. They are simple, but they are strong. Here is another powerful method. Replace excuse with immediate small action. If your mind says, I will study later, open the book immediately for 5 minutes. If your mind says, skip workout today, do 10 push-ups right now. Small action kills big excuses. Action breaks the negative pattern. Excuses often hide fear, fear of failure, fear of looking foolish, fear of not being perfect. But failure teaches. Mistakes improve you. Imperfect action is better than perfect delay. Waiting for perfect conditions is another excuse. Perfect conditions do not exist. There will always be noise. There will always be problems. There will always be low energy days. You must build a rule in your mind. No emotional excuses. If something is important, it gets done. Maybe slowly, maybe imperfectly, but it gets done. This rule builds discipline. This rule builds identity. Feel this emotional moment deeply. Years later, you will not regret working hard. You will regret excuses. You will not regret waking up early. You will regret sleeping through opportunity. You will not regret practicing English daily. You will regret the days you avoided it. Excuses are comfortable today but painful tomorrow. Discipline is uncomfortable today but powerful tomorrow. Choose your discomfort wisely. Every time you remove an excuse, you become stronger. Every time you take ownership, you become sharper. Every time you keep your word, you become more confident. Slowly, people will notice. But more importantly, you will notice. You will feel different, more serious, more focused, more controlled. And here is the final shift of this chapter. When you remove excuses, you become dangerous in a good way. Dangerous to laziness. Dangerous to procrastination. Dangerous to weakness. Because now you act instead of complain. You move instead of wait. You build instead of blame. That is real power. Chapter 5. Become addicted to progress, not comfort. Now we change something very deep, not your habits, not your schedule. We change your desire, because discipline becomes powerful when you stop loving comfort and start loving progress. Most people are addicted to comfort. Comfort means ease. Comfort means no pressure. Comfort means doing what feels good right now, sleeping more, scrolling more, eating more, avoiding hard tasks. Comfort gives short-term pleasure. Short-term means it feels good now, but not for long. Progress is different. Progress means improvement. Progress means moving forward. Progress means becoming better than yesterday. Progress does not always feel good in the moment. It often feels difficult. But it gives long-term pride. Long-term means it lasts. Pride means a deep feeling of satisfaction about yourself. Now there is a battle happening every day inside you. Comfort versus progress. Comfort says, relax. You deserve a break. Progress says, work now. Rest later. Comfort says, skip today. Progress says, stay consistent. Comfort whispers. Progress requires courage. Ask yourself this powerful question: comfort now or pride later? Because that is the real choice. You cannot have both at the same time. If you choose comfort now again and again, later you feel regret. If you choose progress now again and again, later you feel confidence. Let us use simple compare and contrast sentences. Comfort feels easy now, but creates difficulty later. Progress feels difficult now, but creates ease later. Comfort gives temporary happiness. Progress gives permanent strength. Practice this pattern in English. A feels, but be creates. This helps your language and your thinking. Daily small wins create momentum. Momentum means forward energy. It is like pushing a heavy object. At first, it is hard, but once it starts moving, it becomes easier. When you complete one task, you feel good. When you complete another, you feel stronger. These small wins build momentum. For example, you wake up on time. That is one win. You study English for 20 minutes. That is another win. You avoid unnecessary scrolling. That is another win. Small improvements every day create big change over time. Now here is something important. Track your progress. Tracking means writing down what you complete. Use a notebook. Write the date. Write what you did. Even small actions matter. When you see your effort on paper, motivation increases naturally. You do not need fake excitement. You see real proof. When you see improvement, your identity begins to change. Identity means how you see yourself. At first, you say, I am trying. Later you say, I am improving. Then you say, I am disciplined. Visible improvement changes self-image. Self-image changes behavior. Another important word is stagnation. Stagnation means no movement, no growth, staying the same. At first, stagnation feels comfortable. You avoid difficulty. You stay safe. But slowly, something changes. You start feeling frustrated. You feel bored. You feel stuck. That is the hidden cost of comfort. Now imagine something powerful. Stagnation starts feeling uncomfortable. Growth starts feeling exciting. That is the shift we want. When you skip your study time, It should feel wrong. When you miss your workout, it should feel strange. Why? Because you are addicted to progress now. Do not compare yourself to others. Comparison with others creates pressure and jealousy. Compare yourself to yesterday. Were you better today than yesterday? Did you improve one small thing? That is enough. Improvement is personal. Progress is personal. Celebrate effort, not just results. If you only celebrate big success, you will feel disappointed most days. But if you celebrate showing up, trying again, staying consistent, you will feel proud daily. Effort builds character. Results come later. Use simple patterns again. When you improve daily, you build confidence. When you see progress, you feel proud. When you feel proud, you stay consistent. This cycle is powerful. Let me tell you something important. Comfort makes you weak slowly. Progress makes you strong slowly. Both work slowly, but one builds regret. The other builds pride. Choose carefully. At first, discipline feels forced. You push yourself. You resist comfort. But when you begin to love improvement, something changes. You start enjoying the challenge. You start looking for ways to grow. Hard tasks become opportunities. Difficult days become training. When you love progress, discipline stops feeling forced. It becomes natural. It becomes part of who you are. And when that happens, no one needs to push you. You push yourself. Chapter 6. Discipline is self-respect in action. This is the final chapter. And this is the most powerful one. Because now we change how you see discipline completely. Many people think discipline is harsh. They think it is punishment. They think it means suffering. They think it means removing all happiness from life. They imagine a strict life with no fun, no rest, no freedom. That is wrong. Real discipline is not punishment. It is self-love. Self-love does not always feel soft. Sometimes self-love is strong. Sometimes self-love says no. No to laziness. No to distraction. No to wasting time. No to habits that destroy your future. That is not cruelty. That is protection. Real discipline protects your future. When you wake up early to study, you are protecting your future success. When you save money instead of wasting it, you are protecting your future stability. When you practice English daily, you are protecting your future confidence. Discipline is care in action. Let us understand this in simple words. Discipline means doing what is good for you, even when it feels hard. Self-respect means valuing yourself. When you connect these two, you understand something powerful. Discipline is self-respect in action. When you keep promises to yourself, you build identity. Identity means who you believe you are. If you break promises daily, your identity becomes weak. You start thinking, I am lazy. I cannot stay consistent. But when you keep promises daily, your identity becomes strong. You begin saying, I am someone who keeps promises. Say this sentence clearly in your mind. I am someone who keeps promises. This is not just a sentence. It is a decision. Every time you act with discipline, you prove this statement true. Now imagine yourself 5 years from today. Close your eyes for a moment and see that version of you. Is that person confident? Is that person strong? Is that person financially stable? Is that person fluent in English? That future version depends on your actions today. Discipline today is freedom tomorrow. Freedom from stress. Freedom from regret. Freedom from weakness. When you complete your tasks on time, your mind feels calm. When you follow your routine, your life feels organized. Discipline removes chaos and builds peace. Chaos means confusion, disorder, stress. Peace means calmness, stability, clarity. When you live without discipline, your days feel messy. You rush, you delay, you panic. But when you live with discipline, you plan, you act, you finish, you relax without guilt. Discipline creates emotional stability. Stability means balance. You are not controlled by mood every day. If you feel good, you work. If you feel bad, you still work. You are steady. You are consistent. That consistency builds an unbreakable mindset. An unbreakable mindset does not mean you never feel tired. It means you do not quit. It does not mean you never feel fear. It means you move forward anyway. Through repetition, through daily effort, through small promises kept, you become mentally strong. Let me repeat important ideas in simple sentences. Discipline protects your future. Discipline builds identity. Discipline creates peace. Discipline builds strength. Repetition makes this truth clear. At first, you force discipline. You push yourself. You wake up when you want to sleep. You study when you want to scroll. You work when you want to relax. It feels hard. It feels uncomfortable. But later, something beautiful happens. Later, discipline shapes you. You become focused. You become calm. You become confident. You become stable. People may not see the daily effort, but they will see the results. More importantly, you will feel the transformation inside, from emotional to stable, from lazy to consistent, from doubtful to confident. This is the power of discipline. Now the choice is simple. You can choose comfort now and regret later, or discipline now and strength later. You can protect your feelings today or protect your future forever. The decision is yours. If you stayed till the end, you are serious about growth. You are not just watching. You are not just listening. You are thinking. You are learning. You are building a stronger mind. And that already makes you different from most people. Most people watch for entertainment. You watched for improvement. That shows something powerful about you. It shows that you want more from life. It shows that you are ready to grow. And growth always begins with awareness. If this video opened your eyes even a little, like this video so more people can learn this powerful lesson. When you like the video, you help this message reach someone who needs it. Someone who feels lazy. Someone who feels stuck. Someone who is waiting for motivation. Subscribe to this channel if you want to improve your English and your mindset together. Because here, we do not only learn language, we build character, we build discipline, we build confidence, step by step, video by video. And now I want you to take action. Not tomorrow, not next week. Right now. Comment below one discipline rule you will start from today. Maybe you will wake up at a fixed time. Maybe you will study English for 20 minutes daily. Maybe you will stop making excuses. Write it. When you write it, you make it real. Remember this clearly. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. Feelings change. Decisions stay. And the life you want is waiting behind the actions you are avoiding. So choose wisely. Choose strength. Choose growth. Choose discipline.